Namaste. Welcome. I am Gavin Edwards, and I represent Samadhana Yoga. Excuse me while I change the camera. Good. And I want to read you another passage from Ramana Maharshi's book, Who Am I? I'm going to start by reading the preface just to give you context, but I'm going to start off on verse 15. So about halfway through the book, a little more than halfway through. Introduction. Who am I is the title given to a set of questions and answers bearing on self-inquiry. The questions were put to Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi by Sri M. Siva Praksam Pillai about the year 1902. Sri Pillai, a graduate in philosophy, I hope I'm not messing his name up, was at the time employed, forgive me if I am though, was at the time employed in the Revenue Department of the South Arcot Collectorate. During his visit to Tiravan, Amalai in 1902 on official work, he went to Virupaksha Cave on Arunachala Hill and met the Maharshi there. He sought from him spiritual guidance and solicited answers to questions relating to self-inquiry. Who am I? All living beings desire to be happy, always, without any misery. In everyone there is observed supreme love for oneself, and happiness alone is the cause of love. In order, therefore, to gain that happiness, which is one's nature and which is experienced in the state of deep sleep, where there is no mind, one should know oneself. To achieve this, the path of knowledge, the inquiry in the form of who am I, is the principal means. How long should inquiry be practiced? As long as there are impressions of objects in the mind, so long the inquiry, who am I, is required. As thoughts arise, they should be destroyed then and there, in the very place of their origin, through inquiry. If one resorts to contemplation of the self unintermittently until the self is gained, that alone would do. As long as there are enemies within the fortress, they will continue to sally forth. If they are destroyed as they emerge, the fortress will fall into our hands. Verse 16. Question 16. What is the nature of the self? What exists in truth is the self alone. The world, the individual soul, and God are appearances in it, like silver in mother of pearl. These three appear at the same time and disappear at the same time. The self is that where there is absolutely no I thought. That is called silence. The self itself is the world. The self itself is I. The self itself is God. All is Siva, the self. Is not everything the work of God? Without desire, resolve, or effort, the sun rises, and in its mere presence, the sunstone emits fire. The lotus blooms, water evaporates. People perform their various functions and then rest. Just as in the presence of the magnet the needle moves, it is by virtue of the mere presence of God that the souls governed by the three cosmic functions or the fivefold divine activity perform their actions and then rest, in accordance with their respective karmas. God has no resolve. No karma attaches itself to him. That is like worldly actions not affecting the sun, or like the merits and demerits, the merits and demerits of the other four elements not affecting all-pervading space. Of the devotees, who is the greatest? He who gives himself up to the self that is God is the most excellent devotee. Giving oneself up to God means remaining constantly in the self without giving room for the rise of any thoughts other than that of the self. Whatever burdens are thrown on God, he bears them. Since the supreme power of God makes all things move, why should we, without submitting ourselves to it, constantly worry ourselves with thoughts as to what should be done and what should not be done and how not? We know that the train carries all loads, so after getting on it, why should we carry our small luggage on our head to our discomfort, instead of putting it down in the train and feeling at ease? Question 19. What is non-attachment? As thoughts arise, destroying them utterly without any residue in the very place of their origin is non-attachment. Just as the pearl diver ties a stone to his waist, sinks to the bottom of the sea, and there takes the pearls, so each one of us should be endowed with non-attachment. Dive within oneself and obtain the self-pearl. Question 20. Is it not possible for God and the Guru to effect the liberation of a soul? God and the Guru will only show the way to liberation. They will not by themselves take the soul to the state of liberation. And this Ramana Maharshi is the reason why I don't recommend gurus to people. Because until you can get yourself to that place, the guru is only the band-aid. He is only the vessel. He's the pill. He's the substance, if you will. In truth, God and the Guru are no different. Just as the prey which has fallen into the jaws of a tiger has no escape, so those who have come within the ambit of the Guru's gracious look will be saved by the Guru and will not get lost. Yet, each one should, by his own effort, pursue the path shown by God or Guru and gain liberation themselves. One can know oneself only with one's own eye of knowledge, and not with somebody else's. Does he who is Rama require the help of a mirror to know that he is Rama? I'm going to repeat that. One can know oneself only with one's own eye of knowledge, and not with somebody else's. Does he who is Rama require the help of a mirror to know that he is Rama? No. He knows. Question 21. Is it necessary for one who longs for liberation to inquire into the nature of categories, otherwise known as tattvas? Just as one who wants to throw away garbage has no need to analyze it and see what it is, so one who wants to know the self has no need to count the number of categories or inquire into their characteristics. What he has to do is to reject altogether the categories that hide the self. The world should be considered like a dream. Question 22. This question will end the meditation. Is there no difference between waking and dream? Waking is long and dream short. Other than this, there is no difference. Just as waking happenings seem real while awake, so do those in a dream while dreaming. In dream, the mind takes on another body. In both waking and dream states, thoughts, names, and forms occur simultaneously. Waking is long and dream short. Other than this, there is no difference. I want you to think about that. And if you've closed your eyes, if you've used this time as a meditation, I invite you to open your eyes, bring slight, slow movement into your fingers and toes, and then start to move other parts of your body. And I hope you stay tuned. I will be releasing a meditation product, a few meditation products, after my meditation challenge is done. And if you also love to talk about Ramana Maharshi, if you like to talk about self-inquiry, which is another form of yoga, feel free to leave me a message. I'll give you my email. We can get connected. Thank you so much for joining me, for sharing your energy with me. I encourage you to look up Ramana Maharshi videos on the rest of YouTube. There are quite a few documentaries on Ramana Maharshi. But he is one guru who really inspired me and jump-started my awakening process. I'll put quotations around that, because I'm not sure what to call it, but I'm different now than I used to be, so that's all I know. Thank you for joining me.